Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Melanated Consciousness. Now, last week we were talking about I am not my thoughts. That was simply part one. It was more of a freestyle for me. Today, I want to provide you with some specific things that we can think about and focus on when it comes to our thoughts and our thinking patterns. Before I get into that, I am the Mystic Mover. I'm a spiritual coach and an energy healer. What we're focusing on today, thoughts. This is just something hands-on for my viewers. If you need something specific for you, I do offer coaching programs. I offer about a 6-week program, and I also offer just different segments for you to jump in that last about 45 minutes. So do visit mysticmelaninshop.com to see if any of those coaching programs is something that I would be able to help you with. So going right into today, I thought that we could talk about, continue the talk on I am not my thoughts. So in the previous video, it was a lot of us speaking on how we get caught up in negative thinking and we internalize that negative or we internalize that inner voice as a part of ourselves, which is not necessarily true. So going right into it today, thoughts produce emotions. And it's very important for you to build a sense of emotional intelligence around yourself and your thought process, because you will never stop thinking thoughts. You always thinking, and sometimes we are even thinking without thinking, right? The mind just going. So it is very important to develop a game plan for your emotional self, your thought process. I know that if I think a certain thought, it triggers a certain emotion. So let's think about ourselves. When we come to thinking about a thought, most times it is because we have created some type of emotional attachment to it. And our emotional attachment to it creates illusions, but it creates a response. And the response is all based upon the emotion, which is why if you do not have your emotions in check and understanding a relationship with your emotions, you're going to lose control of this. It goes straight from here to here. And once it is in here, it is locked. Okay? It is locked until you take the initiative to place it where it deserves to be placed. So let's talk about emotions. Where do our emotions come from? Our emotions come from a feeling. How did something make you feel? How do you feel towards something? I wrote a list of important words because a lot of people are unable to identify their emotions, their feelings. We have negative processing because we have negative feelings. Let's talk about some of those feelings. Misunderstood. Tell me if these resonate with you, if you've ever felt like this, okay? Controlled. Helpless. Abandoned. Deceived. Oh, I do not like to be deceived. I do not like to be deceived. Deceived. Don't do me. Dismissed. I felt dismissed. Okay. Embarrassed. Judged, stuck, hurt. These are the types of feelings that we as humans can find ourselves embodying because we have feelings. I'm an emotion. I don't care if you say you don't have feelings. That's a lie. If I throw something upside your head, I bet you feel it. Okay, so you got feelings. But anyway, what you gotta know your feelings. And it helps to be able to identify that exact feeling, because then is when you can have a conversation with that feeling. This is what I mean. I felt dismissed. Okay. Did the person really try to dismiss me, or were they projecting, or were they running from something? What was it? Because a person who does not have emotional intelligence, when they're dismissed, they start to feel like I'm not worthy of being heard. What I have to say is not valuable. What I have to offer is not being received. That's not what that meant. A person who dismisses you does not mean that that does not take away from your value as a human. It don't take away your truth. It don't take away from your hair. It don't take away from your height. It don't make your skin change color. It don't do nothing to you. That person is projecting something onto you that you're mirroring to them in that moment. That is exactly what is happening. That's what's really happening. But somehow what we pull and pick from that, when we are not in our emotional power, is that there must be something wrong with me. Well, no, there's not anything wrong with you unless you were initiating or projecting back to this person once that person has projected onto you. The appropriate way to handle our negative thinking when we find ourselves caught up in our feelings is to have a dialogue, to talk to ourselves. So let's jump into that. So the purpose of your emotions is to talk to you. People say, do you talk to yourself? Baby, I've been talking to myself. I always talk. I don't care. I used to try to talk to myself on the side because you're talking to yourself. Oh, baby, I have a full-blown conversation with myself because, baby, we finna get to the bottom of this, and it's me versus me. I ain't got nothing to do with none of y'all. Because when you go home and you eat your food and you take your shower and you go to sleep, you're not thinking about me. You ain't studying me. So why should I hold your energy and disrupt everything that I got going on? No. Your emotion is your higher self talking with you, letting you know where you need to be stronger, letting you know where you need to speak up, letting you know where you are not where you are not connecting, where you're not listening to your inner voice, where something is at the surface that we have not yet grasped. So a lot of us use our emotions wrong. We use our emotions as a way for us to protect ourselves, or a way for us to vent, or an outlet, which that's perfectly fine given the circumstance. But the primary purpose of your emotions is to be able to help you to have a response, to know what's going on. So your emotions are talking to you, telling you what's really happening. And that is why I had the list of, I'm being misunderstood in this time. Okay. I'm being controlled in this moment. I feel like I'm being controlled. I feel a little bit helpless right now. The emotion helps us, or the feeling helps us pinpoint what is happening. And if we do not get control over that emotion when it is trying to speak to us, then we find ourselves allowing the emotion to lead. And the emotion does not have a consciousness. You have the consciousness. The emotion only has the action, baby. So you have to make sure that you are not allowing the actions to place you in a space where the energy was never meant to go. You are responsible for making sure that you tell an emotion where it needs to go. If somebody was to hurt your feelings, that is a emotional response. That is your emotion telling you something about this person. It is revealing to you some things about this person, not you. Yeah, it hurts your feelings. Now, hold on now. Because depending on what they said to you when it hurt your feelings, it could be very well revealing to you some subconscious processing, some limited beliefs, some trauma. Okay. So I will say that. However, your emotions are your support team. You work with your emotions in order to change the trajectory of your life, your communication, the things you have access to. You do not allow your emotions to drag you. Don't do that. When you get done, I don't allow my emotions to drag me, baby. I'm talking about when I got done acting a fool and I calmed down, I was so embarrassed because, first of all, you didn't even have to do all of that. And second of all, it wasn't even necessary. Your emotions are your support team because they are giving you vital information every single time that they show up. And guess what? You have to learn how to deal with these emotions because there's going to be another time in the future where this is going to circle back to you. And you're going to have to be able to know how to handle it. If you are hot-headed, and you can't control your anger, your temper, your emotions, you take everything personal, how are you going to be able to get an intuitive guidance from the spirit on how to do something? If you get a contract and it's below the amount of money that you desired and you immediately go into a sad feeling like this ain't disappointment, okay? That you allow that feeling of disappointment to bring you to a state of your worthiness? No, because you have two options in that moment. You either can let your worthiness be known, or you can reject. Either way it go, you let it be known. You let it be known verbally out loud and negotiate the terms, or you can send it back. Let it know. Like, it's not. We internalize a lot of external energy, and you have to be careful with that because that is how you produce a negative thinking pattern. Things that happen to you that cause an emotional feeling, these things that's not their purpose. That's how you're taking it. That's how you're perceiving it. That is how you are allowing that emotion to be. You have the power to shift that perspective and make it be what it's supposed to be. So remember, your emotion is only your support team. Your emotions say, hey, they don't understand what you're saying. You might want to clear it up. Your feeling also tells you, hey, they are abandoning you right now. So you may have to pull your pants up, tighten your belt up, and let it be what it is. Don't take no emotional attachment to it. Because they don't know no better. This is what they know. This is how they function. It has nothing to do with you. This is the discipline that you got to start telling yourself. What another man feels and thinks has nothing to do with you. They're thinking and feeling from their own perspective, their own mirror. You're responsible for the emotion and how the emotion goes from 0 to 100. You're responsible for that. In any given time, they made me angry. You are okay to be angry, but control your response. Because if somebody does something to make me angry and I retaliate off of that emotion, now I'm in jail. Okay, now you, why you in jail? Oh, yeah. Okay. So you might want to come pipe that down. Not only you on jail, but you got a record. You got to think further than what you can see. Is this really worth it? Is this really worth it? Not if it's worth it, who am I to tell you to stop? Okay. But do it really be worth it? No, it's not worth it. You have the power when you can sit still. When you don't have to respond, you got the power. Now, the last thing that I want to tell you about your emotions. So first, let's go back through it. In the previous video, it was a lot of us acknowledging what that emotion, or acknowledging that we feel some type of way. You got to acknowledge it. You're not weak. You're not petty. You are a human. And that is what that is for, so that you can pick up and keep, playing chess, whatever. So we talked about identifying the emotion. Now we were just talking about what that emotion is telling me. And we also was talking about seeing the emotion as a support team. Now, what the emotion is telling me, we talked about that a little bit, but the emotion, when you are dismissed, that don't mean that you're not worthy. That means that the other person probably does not have the conversation or communication to be able to express themselves. So I'm going to dismiss you. Ain't got no dang, that didn't have nothing to do with you. But now that you was dismissed and I heard, you go somewhere and you angry and you mad and you're building up a external block on the inside of yourself because they couldn't express themselves. Okay. Judged. Somebody judged you. Okay, they judge me all the time. My hair green. Who do that? Me. I do. And I don't care who else don't do it because I like it. Because another person come and tell me that they don't like green hair, that's their preference. You're not me. Why would you like green hair? Okay. Negative thoughts come from things and projections that people say. That's why I use it in this way. But let me see here, embarrassed on an internal playing field. I just want to touch back on telling me what the emotion means, because I don't really recall speaking much on it. But embarrassed. I used to be embarrassed because I couldn't okay, let's say I felt embarrassed because after college a lot of people were just getting these good jobs, and I just felt like I ain't have to go to college to get this job I'm working. So I'm embarrassed. On the inside, at my heart, them people didn't tell me you should be embarrassed or that ain't the right way. And who said that? Who said that? You working? You ain't sitting down with your hand out? That's how, but then I felt like I could be doing so much more, and I felt less than, like, but why? But why? Because you put in an application and then that wasn't for you. You get that job, now you're going crazy. Okay. We always try to make a big deal out of stuff, and it don't even really be that. Just chill. Be grateful for what you have. Be appreciative for what you have. You want it taken away? No, because you want to flex. You want to look good for somebody who ain't studying you. They ain't studying you. Okay. So that's what I was meaning about. Your emotions tell you things now. Okay. And last but not least, y'all want to know what I'm looking at? My notes, because my brain be having it all up here. Take action. When you get done processing those emotions, when you come to a conclusion of this is what this was, and it was not on me, you have got to take an action. That action for me, I think, should be something that is recorded so that you are able to reapply it should you need it in the future, or should you need a reminder. And we do this, and I say 2 ways. Take action by journaling. Write how something made you feel. Release it, because if you hold it in your heart center, guess what? Now you holding low vibrational energy. I felt misunderstood. How did that make you feel? It made me feel sad. So now you holding sad energy. Why? Because somebody who didn't know themselves said something to you? That's no. You will not be low vibrating on the behalf of somebody else. You will not do that, because you got too many great things to accomplish in order, instead of you to sit there and hold on to some BS. It's pure BS, because it don't pay no bills. It don't give you no food. It don't make your hair grow. It don't do nothing for you. It actually causes stress, which sends a stress hormone that actually kills you. So, I mean, okay. Now, journaling. What journaling does is a transfer of energy. It gets all of that stuff out of me. Even if it comes back in me later, I won't have a double dose. I just keep writing it and I keep sending it away. I'm writing it down. I'm getting it out. I am putting my thoughts on paper so that we can now have a conversation and talk back to each other. And I can understand how I really feel and see it for myself. And I can make a conclusion whether this is something that is valid or invalid. And another action you can take is therapy. A lot of people don't like to journal. When I was in my depression state of postpartum depression, I couldn't stand writing. I couldn't stand expressing myself. It was not until I went to therapy because I needed a push. And she opened up me being open with myself, me wanting to relate, me wanting to express, because there is a there is a such thing as you becoming resistant to releasing your emotions. And that is a terrible place to be in, because now you are creating bitterness, resentment, and anger from a feeling from your support team. Your support team was literally trying to help you and tell you either where you don't need to be, what you want to revisit, what you want to see, but you took it as a personal thing. And now you're in a place of holding hurt, pain, resentment, and you blocked, you stuck. So journaling, therapy, these are great options for you. I mean, my coaching courses, baby, great options for you, because you need to be able to have a way to get these things flowing and moving so that you can process them. Your support team only gives you the message. It's your responsibility to be able to process everything else around that. You understand? So that is my TED Talk for this week. I thank you guys so much for supporting me in the ways that you do. Whatever topic that you want for this melanated consciousness, please email me at info@mysticmelaninshop.com. I would love to elaborate on some of the things that you guys are interested in. As of now, I'm going to continue the consciousness talk on thought processing and emotions. Should you have a specific area that you'd like me to elaborate on, definitely send me a message. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.